New South Wales Police have revealed Sydney's emergency warning system was activated yesterday for the first time in 20 years, as authorities struggled to manage around 90,000 pro-Palestinian protesters who marched across the Harbour Bridge. Police have praised the behaviour of the crowd, but say there were very real concerns about a potential crush point at the northern end of the bridge. The number of protesters that attended Sunday's march from the CBD to North Sydney, calling for an end to the war in Gaza, far exceeded what organisers had submitted in their forms to gain approval. So let's get more on this. We're joined by our reporter Max Tillman, who's in Sydney. Max, what have police said about this?
Good morning, Gemma. Well, the word police have been using all morning is perilous to describe yesterday's march across the Sydney Harbour Bridge that saw more than 90,000 demonstrators. They've said that it isn't just luck that no one was killed or seriously injured throughout the demonstration, and that really comes from the fact that police say they were given very little time in order to organise what they've described as a mammoth logistical task. Now, we know that late last week, police issued a challenge in the New South Wales Supreme Court to the Palestinian Action Group, the main rally or the main organisers of Sunday's rally. Now, what they were effectively saying is that the group had asked for the Sydney Harbour Bridge to be shut for traffic on Sunday. The initial figure that they were using as part of their application was roughly 10,000 demonstrators, just to give you an idea of how large those numbers were, that they clearly took organisers by surprise as well. Now, late last week, police were really sticking to the narrative that they're still hammering home at the moment, particularly that they were really concerned about the safety of those large numbers of demonstrators, particularly concerned about the potential for a crowd crush. Now, on the day, we initially heard that a text message had been sent out across the Sydney CBD using geolocating technology that told demonstrators to await further instructions. Roughly an hour later, a second directive was issued by New South Wales Police to those taking part in the demonstration that effectively told them to turn around on the Sydney Harbour Bridge while they were making their way from the south side of the harbour to Milsons Point on the north side of the bridge. What we've heard from some of our reporters who were actually there at the scene is that caused an element of confusion amongst those demonstrating, but police have gone as far as saying that they really were pleasantly surprised with the way that those taking part in the demonstration conducted themselves. They were also celebrating the police operation itself. Not only were there text messages being issued, but there were also police helicopters circling the Sydney Harbour Bridge, issuing those directives via loudspeaker as well. Let's take a quick listen to what Deputy Commissioner Adam Johnson had to say.
An event such as that with 90,000 people to be planned for would take months. So we scrambled. We worked in with the organisers, our partner agencies, the police on the ground, the police in the operations centre. I was relying on my public order experts in my team to make the right decisions, and the fact that there was limited injuries and no one killed, that's not luck. That was due to good decision making that we had to make with critical time periods as well.
So there's Acting Deputy Commissioner Johnson there. Now, what we've also seen as a result of this, and particularly that decision by the New South Wales Supreme Court on Saturday to green light the march, is a bit of a legal precedent that could potentially lead to further demonstrations on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, that's something that police have certainly raised concerns about. Now, we've heard from the Palestinian Action Authority, Action Group, my apologies, they were equally as overwhelmed by the number of demonstrators. We'd obviously seen that 10,000 figure floated earlier in the week during this legal challenge, this failed legal challenge by the New South Wales Police, but that figure was later revised to about 50,000. So it really gives you an idea of seemingly how caught by surprise both organisers and the New South Wales Police were. But despite those huge numbers, and also despite the fact that the door has effectively been left open by the New South Wales Supreme Court for further demonstrations, the organisers say there are currently no plans for another march across the bridge.